Story 1. The Man Outside My Door. It was the middle of winter. Snow was coming down harder than usual, and the roads had already started icing over. I remember because I had just returned home after a late shift, and the cold bit through my jacket as I made my way up the steps to my apartment. I live on the second floor of a duplex in a quiet neighborhood. Not the kind of place you'd expect anything strange to happen. But that night, something was off from the moment I stepped inside. The air felt heavier than usual, still, like the house was holding its breath. I shook the feeling off, locked the door behind me, and went about my night. I had just sat down on the couch and turned on the TV when I heard it. A knock at the door, not a regular knock, not polite, but slow, deliberate. 3 knocks, then silence. I turned the volume down and listened. Nothing. No more knocking. No footsteps. Just the wind whistling through the trees outside. I got up and peeked through the peephole. No one. The porch light was on, the snow-covered ground undisturbed. Still, I couldn't shake the unease crawling down my spine. I waited a few more seconds, then locked the deadbolt just in case and went back to the couch. An hour passed, then it happened again. 3 knocks, just like before. This time, my heart skipped. I got up faster and went back to the door, looking out the peephole again. Nothing. I turned on the porch light, opened the door slowly, and looked around. Still, no one. No footprints. No car in the driveway. Just endless snow and the sound of my own breathing. I shut the door and this time slid the chain across. It was late. I needed sleep. I figured maybe it was just a prank or my mind playing tricks on me. So I went to my room, locked the door, and tried to sleep, but sleep didn't come easy. Around 3 a.m., I was jolted awake, not by a sound, not exactly, but a presence. You know that feeling when you're being watched, like something is wrong and your body knows it before your brain does? That's what I felt. I sat up slowly, looking around my dark room. Moonlight crept through the blinds, painting long lines across the floor. I listened closely. Nothing. Then, creak. A floorboard in the hallway. Outside my room. I froze. Another creak. Closer. Whoever, or whatever it was walking towards my room. I couldn't move. My body locked in place, heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Then, silence again, until a shadow broke the line of moonlight under my bedroom door. Someone was standing there, not moving, just standing. I whispered, "Hello?" No response. I stood up quietly and grabbed my phone from the nightstand. My fingers trembled as I unlocked it and texted my downstairs neighbor, my friend Jason. "Are you home right now?" A few seconds later I got a reply. "What do you mean? I'm not home right now." My blood turned cold, eyes wide. I turned back to the door. That shadow, it wasn't Jason. I grabbed my baseball bat from the corner of the room and moved as quietly as I could to the door. The shadow was still there, unmoving. I mustered up all my courage, flung the door open, and nothing. The hallway was empty, but Jason's room. His door was wide open. I tiptoed over, heart pounding in my chest. I listened carefully. No sound, no breathing, just stillness. Then I peeked inside and saw him. A man, standing perfectly still in the center of the room. Tall, much taller than Jason, a thick beard, his face partly hidden in the dark, and he was staring right at me. I didn't wait another second. I turned and bolted out the front door, running across the street and calling 911 from the safety of a neighbor's porch. The police arrived quickly, but the man was gone. No signs of forced entry, no footprints in the snow. The only clue was a single window in the back of the house, slightly ajar, but it didn't look like it had been opened recently. They searched everywhere. Nothing. That was disturbing enough. But what's haunted me since then is this. For the past few nights, before this happened, Jason and I both heard creaking floorboards late at night. We thought it was the house settling, but now I know. Someone was inside, walking, watching, and the worst part, that night was the one night Jason wasn't home. I think that man knew. I think he was waiting for Jason, waiting in his room, sitting on his bed in the dark, and I wasn't the one he wanted. I got lucky. Jason got lucky. But I don't think it was the first time that man had been inside, and I'm terrified it won't be the last. Story 2. The man in Jason's room. Jason sent me a question mark, then followed up with, "What do you mean I'm not home right now?" My stomach dropped. I went pale. My eyes immediately darted to his bedroom door, still open. I sprang to my feet and rushed into the hallway, heart pounding in my ears. But it was empty. No footsteps, no creaking, just stillness. Jason's door, which I could have sworn was closed just moments earlier, now hung slightly open again. I approached cautiously. My breath slowed. My muscles tensed. I pressed my ear to the doorway, listening for even the faintest sound, but there was nothing. Then I leaned forward and peeked in. The room was pitch black. The only light was the faint moonlight sneaking through the blinds. But standing in the middle of the room was a man, not Jason. Even in the dark, I could tell this man was taller than Jason, bulkier, and he had a thick beard, 2 features. Jason absolutely did not have. That's when I ran. No hesitation, no second guesses. I bolted out of the house, straight across the street, and called 911. I stayed there, trembling, heart racing, until the police arrived. But by the time they searched the house, he was gone. No signs of forced entry, no doors left open, only a slightly cracked window, unlocked, but not recently moved. It gets worse. Looking back now, we both remembered hearing creaking floorboards at night for the past few days, chalked up to an old house settling. But now, we knew the truth. He had been inside, walking the halls, while we were asleep. Even more disturbing, Jason's room is where the man had been sitting, on Jason's bed, waiting. And that night just happened to be the one night Jason had off from work. The one night I worked late. Meaning, Jason would have been home alone, unless, by pure luck, he hadn't gone to hang out with a friend last minute. That man might have gotten exactly what he was waiting for. We never found out who he was, how he got in, or what his real intentions were. And that's the scariest part. We only survived because Jason wasn't where the man expected him to be. Story 3. The Craigslist Roommate. Back in 2015, I was 23 and looking for a roommate to share my apartment with. Craigslist was still the go-to at the time, not as sketchy as it is now. I posted some pictures, listed details, and mentioned I preferred someone around my age. After a few days, I got a reply from someone named Hannah. She said she was also 23, still in college, and based on our phone call, We actually had a lot in common. She seemed normal, friendly, maybe even a good friend in the making. We scheduled a time for her to visit the apartment, and everything felt right when she came by. She liked the place. We agreed on a price, and within a week, she had moved in. Now, I did notice she looked a bit older than 23, taller than me, more mature features, but I chalked it up to genetics and didn't think much of it. The first few days were uneventful. We were both busy, me with work, her with school and a part-time job. But then came day 5. I got home from work around 10 p.m. and immediately heard rushed footsteps in the hallway, followed by a door slamming shut. Weird. I dropped my bag and checked the hallway. My bedroom door was wide open, even though I was sure I'd closed it before leaving that morning. Her door was now shut, and the light underneath told me she was awake. I stepped into my room cautiously. Nothing looked disturbed. No drawers opened. No things misplaced. I tried to convince myself I was just imagining things. I settled in and started watching some TV to wind down. Maybe an hour passed. Everything was quiet. Then I glanced at the bottom of my door, and I froze. A shadow. Someone was standing right behind the door, motionless. "Hannah!" I called out. Nothing. My voice cracked a little as I tried again. "Hannah, are you out?" "There!" Still no response. Then the shadow moved, slowly walking away. Seconds later, her bedroom door slammed shut. My heart raced. What was she doing just standing there, watching me through the crack in the door? The next morning, I casually brought it up in the kitchen. She smiled politely and brushed it off. "Everything's good," she said, just like that. Later that night, I got home around 10:30. The place was dark, no lights, no sound. I assumed Hannah was asleep. I went into my room, shut the door quietly, and got on a quick FaceTime call. Then, I took a long shower, but while the water ran, I thought I heard something, a click or a creak. I turned the water down to listen. Nothing. I finished my shower and stepped into my room, only to see the hallway door wide open. I was sure I had shut and locked it. I stepped into the hallway again. No lights, no movement, just silence. I went back, locked my door this time for sure, and tried to convince myself it was all just a misunderstanding. I watched TV for a while to calm my nerves. Eventually, I turned off the lights and crawled into bed. I had no idea how long I'd been asleep when I suddenly woke up. My room was pitch black. No sounds, no creaks, no wind, no traffic. But my bedroom door was cracked open. Just a few inches, but enough to see out into the hallway. I knew I had locked it. I whispered, "Hannah." No reply. I sat up, heart racing. My eyes adjusted to the dark. That's when I saw her. She was in the corner of my room, standing silently near my wardrobe, not moving, just staring. Even in the dark, I could see that blank, dead expression on her face. She took one step toward me, then another. Then suddenly, she sprinted across the room and out the door. Her door slammed behind her. I didn't wait. I grabbed my phone, my car keys, and bolted from the apartment. I didn't even stop in the parking lot. I drove away. I parked in a nearby neighborhood and called the police. 15 minutes later, officers searched the place, but she was gone. And so were most of her belongings. We tried to look her up, but the name she gave me, fake. Her phone number, a prepaid burner with no name or trace. There was no record of her at all. She was never Hannah. And to this day, 10 years later, I've never seen or heard from her again, which makes me think, if I hadn't left when I did, I might have found out what she really wanted, and I might not have lived to tell the story.